You have this amazing idea when you think about it. And there's a part of you that gets excited and it causes you to think really wonderful thoughts where you just see yourself living and doing these amazing things, that you see yourself being this even more amazing person. Yet, nevertheless, there's this part of you that starts questioning, is that my ego, or is truly that my voice of it? Is that the voice of my inspiration? How do you know the difference? Well, today I'm going to give you 5 questions to ask yourself. These were questions that were given to me by my mentor, Mary Morrissey, to determine, is this my ego, or is this the voice of inspired insight? If you like what you hear, whether you're watching this live or the replay, make sure to drop some emojis, some thumbs up and some hearts, so I know that this is speaking to you. And if you want more of this, you want my training notes, you want these notes to print off and have in your hand. And if you want to go deeper into this proven spiritual success formula, comment with the word inspiration, and I'll make sure that my team and I get that information to you. My name is Felicia Searcy. It is my joy to be able to serve thousands of people around the world, to really serve the dreams of thousands of people around the world. It is my joy to be in this moment, your partner in believing. See, your dream is my passion. So let's get into this. You have an idea, you have a desire. Uh, oh, okay. Sorry about that, you all. I didn't think it was on. I keep seeing this button that says start broadcast. All right. So thank you, Severina. So you just got me to watch me go through that whole thing with whether or not we were on. So I'm not seeing anybody. So Severina, I don't see you on. So anyway, all right. So welcome. Again, if you, to just reintroduce myself, my name is Felicia Searcy, and it is my joy in my massively imperfect way to support you in living your dream. Your dream is my passion. So you've got an idea, and it's an idea that feels really, really delicious. And more than anything, you see yourself living this even more amazing life. You see you doing these amazing things, and you kind of see yourself strutting a little bit. Let me check messages from Severina here. Okay, she says to say hi to Stacy Z. So I don't know where I am because I have nothing on my screen. So y'all are just going to have to hang with me. I'm still seeing a button that says start broadcast. So I'm not sure what's going out or, uh, what you all are seeing. So I'm just going to do my thing and trust that it's going to be sent out into the cyberspace ethers. So how do you know that it's truly divine inspiration, that it's not your ego that is talking? I'm going to give you a 5-point test today to help you really get clear, to be able to know what voice is talking to you. These are 5 questions that were given to me by my mentor, Mary Morrissey. So you have an idea. What do you do? How do you know if it's divine inspiration or if it's just that nagging egoic voice? And if you're watching this and you're attracted to my work, you have a remarkable heart. Only people that are truly have this deep sense of service and contribution get attracted to my work? And so I know that this is one of those questions that you probably find yourself asking. It's like, oh my God, that just feels so egoic. Or, another word to use that you may hear yourself saying is that it just feels so arrogant to think of myself in that way. It may be that you hear yourself saying things like, well, who do I think I am? What makes me think I can do that? What makes me think I should do that? All of those voices can really begin to deteriorate and erode that voice of inspired insight. And I get it. You want to live a spiritually aligned life. You want to be in a place of deep connection, and you want to live from your heart. You want to be super mindful, not to be putting on this mantle of hoo, look at me, who do I think I am? And so often when people start questioning whether or not it's their ego or the voice of inspired insight, deep down, what they're really questioning is, am I worthy of this? Do I deserve this? And it can sometimes get clouded up. And excuse me, Severine is continuing. All right. Diane. All right. So hi, Stacy. Hi, Diane. So she's going to keep signaling me. So Severina, let me, if I can, I'll check down every once in a while, but I'm going to turn the dinger off so I can stay focused with you all. It's what it really comes down to is wondering, do I really deserve this? And here's the thing about that idea. Here's the thing about that inspiration, and I'm going to call it an inspiration. That's how I'm going to refer to it. That drops in. You're going to trade your life, whatever you decide to do, you're trading your life for this. That you're going to trade your life for something. So as you can either trade your time, trade your energy, trade your resources, trade your life for doing what you're currently doing, or you can trade it into, pouring your time, your energy, your resources, your beingness, your commitment into this idea that's dropping in. So how do you know whether or not this is for you to do? Is effectively what you're asking. How do you know whether or not this is effectively something for me to do? All right, so here are the 5 questions. Number 1, when you think about this idea, so Stacy, as I've had the honor of now working with you over a year, when you think about the idea that you have about building out the business that you want to bring, the work that you want to bring to the world, do you come alive? That when you see those images and you feel that feeling in your body, does your whole system go down beyond the voices that may want to argue with it and just be with the simple question, would I love this? And if the answer's yes, do you come alive? Then there's your first yes to the question. So I'm going to write it in here. Does it give you life? Does it give you life is your first question. Now, this question alone requires a terrific level of courage. Most of the population has been taught to downplay or diminish that excitement, that somehow living from a place of true joy and effervescence and really feeling that life force move through you, that somehow it puts you in some kind of danger, or it causes you to go above the radar, or whatever the story is that people tell themselves. People have been well trained to dial that feeling down. You want to cause yourself to turn the volume up on that feeling. You want to cause yourself to really pay attention to this life force. Your life force will never lie to you. Your energy is the voice of the divine seeking to communicate with you. One of the things that I help people understand, and those of you in Life Mastery, we're going to be getting into this month, Your body is the switching station between you and the divine. Your body is like the antenna, and it will communicate to you out of which frame of reference you're thinking. And if you're thinking an egoic thought, you're not going to feel alive. In fact, you're going to feel contracted. So when you start asking the question, is this arrogant? Or is this my ego? You actually feel contracted. That's an indicator that, it's probably not my ego. So number one, does it give me life? Does it give you life? And so right now, bring your desire to mind and test it out. When you see yourself living the nuts and bolts, the fabric of that scenario, that dream, does your whole system light up? Do you just light up when you think about it? All right, number two, let's add another piece here. Well, let me see if it's going to let me do that. Okay, number two, does it align with my core values? Does it align with my core values? So often, the ego will tell you that if you do this, that means somebody else is going to suffer, or you're going to compromise yourself, or it's going to call your integrity into question, or if you were truly spiritual, you wouldn't be thinking about this sort of thing. Go back to the first question. Does it give me life? And if you come alive in the presence of that question, now come into the second question. Does it align with my core values? This question infers that you know what your core values are. So your core values, Stacey, I know you have a high core value of family. You have a high core value of loyalty. And oftentimes, if those happen to be your core values, your dream can feel like you're putting that your dream is at odds with those things, that your dream will actually feel like a betrayal to somebody else, or ask you to put your dream ahead of the needs of those around you, or that you have to choose between your dream and another core value. Here's the thing. First of all, just ask, does it align with my core values? And Stacey, I'm going to keep using you as an example just because I know you so well, and I know it's okay that I do this. But you have a terrific core value of service as well. And your desire to build out your own business may look like it bumps up against the core value of your family and this deep sense of this remarkable value of loyalty that you have. And so right now, all of you, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, when you bring your dream to mind, does it feel like you're bumping up against another core value? When we moved to California, I'd started my business, got very clear it was time for us to bring our chapter in Tennessee to completion and to move to California. And now, at this point in time, I've been taking care of my dad for close to 11 years. And when I'm being responsible for him, he has end stages Alzheimer's now, and I've been in his power of attorney and overseer and caretaker now for the last 11 years. And there was a period of time when I moved him from Louisiana to Tennessee to be closer to me. And he was progressing, and not only does he have Alzheimer's, but he's also bipolar. And so settling him into a facility was a Herculean, is that the right word? Like Hercules effort. It was so difficult for him to make that transition. So difficult for him to make that transition. So when we thought about moving to California, it felt alive-giving. I knew it would be a good move for my husband. I knew it would be a good move for both of us. I knew it would be a really good move, contrary to other people's opinions. It would be a really good move for my business and my ability to serve other people. And yet here was this core value, Stacey, very similar to you, where I had a deep sense of loyalty and commitment to my dad and family. And it felt like I was putting that core value, that it was my desire to move to California was incongruent with that core value. And I'll never forget what my mentor, Mary Morrissey, who developed these questions to do this test, said, that when you have what seemed to be competing core values, so here was my core value of my own aliveness, Ah, there you are. You all just showed up. Yay! Check it out. I got people. I think it just, my computer just took a while to catch up. Anyway, it takes so little to make me happy. I love seeing people's names. Okay, so here was this core value that it felt like these two core values, and Kelly, you know this one too, that these core values seem to bump up against each other. And this is when the ego will start talking. You know, who do I think I am to put my desires and this whim of an idea ahead of the needs of the other people in my life that in my case, I made a commitment to my dad and to take the best care of him. And it just felt so irresponsible in terms of how I was caring for him to think about moving him to California. And I'll never forget, listening to my mentor talk and teach, and when we had conversations, and it's a thing that I'm going to share with you right now. Get bigger than the seeming conflict, because what's wanting to be revealed is a transcended answer. That in the conflict, there's a greater awareness that's seeking to reveal itself. And one of the things that I also became aware of, and I want to share with you all here, is to realize there is no private good. There is no private good. What's good for you truly is good for the other people in your life. They may not be able to see it right away. It may not translate right away. But when you're really living into something that absolutely gives you life, you are then able to bring your best to the people around you. Now, I didn't just say, hey, Pop, you're on your own. I'm moving out to California. I'm following my dream. This is God's voice speaking to me. I made very responsible decisions and found a very good assisted living facility for him, made arrangements to have a really smooth move. I did all the footwork that was necessary to continue to live into that core value. So it's not an either or. It's never an either or. Kelly, I watch you do this with your kids, where you're so aware of your desire to bring your brilliance to the world through your work, and to be very conscientious that you have a deep desire to create a remarkable experience for your kids because you deeply love your kids. And watching you get bigger than what seems to be the conflict. When we're willing to stare down the conflict, this is when we tap into the stream of infinite intelligence in a way that you don't need to tap into it if you're letting the conflict rule the day. And more often than not, again, because of the quality of people that you are, your dream can feel selfish. So if you maintain that either or thinking, the loyalty to something else besides your idea, your desire, is going to win out, and you'll end up putting that desire on the back burner. Here's what I have to say about that. If you believe that there is a power that wove you into existence and woke you up this morning, wants that for you, fire that power. Just write it a pink slip. Because if you think about a power designing you to want more, and then saying, but you can't have it because you got to do this over here, that's a pretty stinky power. What I found with my dad was that I kept hearing myself say, I'll just wait till he dies. I'll just wait till he dies. And I have a running joke, with him. I mean, he's not aware. And it's a lighthearted joke. But it's like, 5 years later, my dad's still alive. Hospice has been saying he's going to die for the last 2.5 years. Oh, anytime. It's like the man refuses to die. And I'm thrilled about that. And now I can joke about it, right? Because now I'm not waiting for him to die, because I haven't put my life on hold. I didn't put my life on hold for him. So I'm able to be fully present for him. He's in a better facility. I'm living my life, and he's been able to have more contact with family now that we moved out to Southern California. So when you're asking yourself, does it align with my core values? Typically, the people who follow me, part of my, is in my tribe, my community, you're not going to entertain something that is not in alignment with your core values. It's when the two seem to fight each other. I'm going to encourage you to get bigger than that core value. Here's the other piece around that. Is this my ego, or is it inspired insight? Because that's the question that we're answering here. Another thing that can trip people up with this question is when you want something very tangible and material. So let me give you another personal example. We're going to be closing on the house that we're physically in tomorrow, just heard from our real estate agent, and then moving to another house, which is probably a third larger than this house. It's more elaborate, it's more expensive, price tag wise, and it's just my husband and I. And I had to really think about, does this align with my core value of is this spiritual to want a bigger house, or is this just my ego? And I'm so grateful for this training that I stay in, my awareness training, and that I help other people with, because what I was able to come to when I think about living in that house, and we went over yesterday to do a termite inspection, and it was pretty much cleared out, and I just, oh my God, I lit up. I lit up at the places where I get to do video. I lit up at all the little nooks and crannies to be able to create beautiful content. I lit up at the idea of being able to entertain and bring my year-long clients where they get to come spend the night with me, and we'll have dinner together and wake up and have breakfast, and just this wonderful leisure experience of really diving deep into your dream. I've got a spot for that. When I think about just going home and pulling up into the driveway and seeing the view out the front and out the back, my whole system lights up. And so when I look at my core value of service, I look at my core value of love, I look at my core value of inspiration and of beauty. All of this aligns with my core value. And I realized that there was still a little bit of a vestige in me left that said that this intelligence that wove me into existence says, make do with what you have. What you have is good enough. I don't want a power. There's the pink slip again. I don't want a power. I don't want to believe in something that says, make do with good enough. I want to believe in something that wants abundance for me. And it's causing me to stretch a little bit. It's evidence of my impact because of the growth of my business. And it's causing me to stretch some as well, to be able to put on being the woman that lives in this kind of house, that growing into the identity that's allowing this new degree of abundance in my life. So does it align with your core values? All right, number 3. Do I need help from a higher power? Do I need help from a higher power, or can I do this on my own? Well, again, is it ego, or is it inspired insight? Is it divine inspiration? I watch people and I listen. In fact, I had a delicious conversation with just an adorable person yesterday who several times said, I just do it on my own. I do it on my own. That, my friends, is ego. That when you hear yourself saying, I can do this and I can do it on my own, that's ego. Number one, it's limiting, because if you can do it on your own, there's no need for you to grow. It's not big enough. And number two, it's extremely egoic to say, I got this. I can do it on my own. I mean, that's the height of arrogance. A true sign of humility is when you're able to say, I love this and I want help. I want help with this. I don't know how to do this on my own. I need help from not only this divine intelligence that wove you into existence, but I need help from somebody else who's walked the path ahead of me, who understands how results are created, who reflects in their life that it really is possible to live a rich, abundant, fulfilling, free life. So to ask yourself, do I know how to do this on my own? Ego. And when you listen to yourself ask that question, go back to the first question, does it give me life? And when you say to yourself, well, I can do this, I got this, I can do it on my own, notice that there's a part of you that steps away from this connection and steps away from the people in your life, as opposed to, yeah, I want help. I want help from the people around me and from the stream of intelligence. That's divine inspiration. That's the voice of inspired insight. And that's true humility. All right. So if any of this is resonating with you, throw some thumbs up and some hearts in the comment section and so let's go back to question number 2. Does your desire align with your core value? Yes or no? And drop it in the comment section, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay. And then ask, do I need help from a higher power? Or can I do it on my own? And again, it may seem counterintuitive, but the height of ego is to believe that you can do it on your own, or to keep yourself small where you're able to do it on your own. All right, so number 3, will this cause me to grow? Or this is number 4. Number 4, will this cause me to grow? If I really allow myself to let this idea drop in and see it in my mind's eye to a level of completion, a level of fruition, will I need to grow? And if the answer's yes, that's inspired insight. If the answer's no, that's ego. It goes back to what we were talking about on the last question. Remember, the whole purpose of your desire is, number 1, for this divine intelligence to express itself in such a rich, delicious, more abundant way by means of you. And then number 2, it is the means by which life grows you. So when you say yes to something more expansive, that it triggers those thoughts of, who do I think I am? And what makes me think I can do that? What makes me think I deserve that? All of that is that ego voice. And I'm going to talk to the need for our ego here in a second. If you realize, in order to step into this next incarnation, that you need help and that you will have to grow into the person who is a match for that, then you know that that's your divine inspiration, that's the voice of inspired insight. Now, let me do a little side note here and talk about the voice of ego. Your ego is not a bad thing. You need your ego. You have to have an ego in order to be able to navigate in this world. I mean, it's the thing it's your personality. It causes you to be able to step into the skin of your being and function in this 3-dimensional world. There's a distinction. You want your ego to serve you. You're not serving your ego. And as you're saying yes to each one of these questions, then you are then serving, your ego is then serving you in order to live into this richer, freer, fuller life that you are created to live, rather than you serving your ego. All right. So if you're appreciating this, thumbs up and hearts. And if you want my training notes, and know that when I get going, stuff drops in. So the two don't always match up, because I get these done before, so you can have access to them before coming on. And then, when inspired insight drops in, I follow it. But if you want these, and you want to know how to tap into the masterclass that I've got coming up, where I'm going to take a much deeper dive into this proven spiritual success formula in order to move this idea into the facts of your life, put the word inspiration in the comment section, and we'll make sure that we get that information to you. All right, number 5. So here's the last question. Is there good in this for others? Definitely a inspired insight versus egoic voice. Is there good in this for others? Again, you all are such a heart-centered community. I mean, people who are attracted to my tribe, you are remarkably heart-centered community. Any desire that is coming up that you answer yes to the other 4 questions absolutely has good in it for others. I go back to my house example. What possible good could moving into a more elaborate house have for others? Well, again, it feeds me. It allows me to open my home even more, to serve clients, to serve friends. I'm so excited that I've got 2 stepsisters and spouses and kids coming for Thanksgiving, and I've got places to put them up in, and I've got my several members of my family are converging on my house for Thanksgiving, and now I have lots of room to do that in. So pretty much, you can see, particularly if it's vocation wise, how there's good in this for others. Yeah. Hey, Becky. Yes. And Becky, we're going to have a conversation because the next piece is that to come hang out at my house for a night and part of the next day. So, it's vocation is easy, but when it comes to things like relationships and health and material things, if you answer yes to those 4 other questions, then you can bet. I'm going to encourage you to look at, so how does this serve others? How is this good for others? All right. So if you know that your dream for the house overlooking the ocean on the coast, I want you to put a resounding yes, that there is good in this for others. And you can do that with your clients too. When people enroll with you at the highest level that you have available, you have a beautiful home that you're able to bring them to really go deep with them. Is this, thank you, Lori. All right, so I'm going down and looking at all of the notes here. Okay, so is there good in this for others? So let's do a quick recap. How do you know if it's ego or inspired insight? 5 questions to ask. Number 1, does it give me life? When you're thinking from that small ego, remember, we need our ego, but when you are serving the ego rather than having the ego serve you, when you ask this question, you're going to contract. Does it, do I come alive? Does it give me life? Number 2, does it align with my core values? Is there some value that this meets? And even if there's a seeming conflict, you know that, yes, this aligns with my core values. So now you get bigger than the seeming conflict. You transcend the conflict. Number 3, do I need help from a higher power? I cannot do this on my own. The depth of humility is to acknowledge that you need help. You need help from outside, and you need help from this stream of intelligence. Number 4, will it cause me to grow? Realizing that the whole purpose of your dream is to grow you into the person that you are created to be. And number 5, is there good in this for others? All right. So once again, I would love to share my training notes with you. Again, there's a lot that drops in when I'm in the middle of teaching this, and this gives you the basics. So put the word inspiration in the comment section, and this also will give you the information for a masterclass that I've got coming up soon, where I'm going to walk you through the proven spiritual success formula in order to take this idea and bring it from your just being inspiration into the facts of your life. All right. Thank you so much for the patience in the beginning. For whatever the reason, my computer was just a little slow in catching up with what was going on. So I know that there was a gap in there, but thank you for staying with me. I hope this serves you, and I will be back next week as we go deeper into another spiritual principle to help you live your dream. My name is Felicia Searcy. It is my joy to be your partner in believing. Your dream is my passion. God bless everyone.